Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your patience, and I apologize for starting the session a little bit late. My name is Jesus Nava. I'm the Director of Client Training and Education here at TradeStation. It is a pleasure to be here with all of you. Today's session is on the series Mastering the Art of TradeStation, and today's topic is Scan the Symbol Universe for Trading Opportunities. I was in the middle of setting up some exercises and some examples here in my TradeStation, and I got carried away with the time, but I'm glad that everyone is here ready to listen to this presentation. Before I get started, a couple of announcements. Keep in mind that every symbol and idea that we use here is for demonstration and educational purposes only. They're not recommendations of TradeStation. Also keep in mind that active trading is not suitable for everyone. It should only be done with the risk capital. And let me just share with everyone a couple of links that will take you to documents that go into more detail about our disclosure statements. All right, let me jump over here to my TradeStation platform. Today's topic, as I said earlier, is scanning the symbol universe for trading opportunities. And even before I start, remember that this is a class that is being transmitted over the internet, and if there's any issues with sound or the image appears distorted, you can always refresh the browser and enter the class one more time. You also have some links available at the document, at the bottom right corner, right there, of the player. So if you want to take a look at what's available for documents, go in there. I'm going to show you one indicator in particular that is not built into the platform that I'm pretty sure everyone will enjoy. All right, this is the TradeStation Scanner, the one you see right here on the screen, and the scanner for everyone that is using TradeStation is available from the Trading Apps Launcher. Okay, you see the scanner right here. It's one of the buttons, and you click it, and it comes up for you. Now, I did have some technical issues with my TradeStation earlier. I had to reinstall. I had some examples prepared for you, but I guess it's always good to start from scratch. So maybe it's a good thing that I lost my examples. And this is the way that the scanner comes up. It's empty. On the left-hand side, you have nothing, and on the right-hand side, you have some sort of a menu giving you some ideas on how to get started. Rather than using that menu, I'm going to show you a couple things that I like to do on my scanner. First of all, you're not left alone in regards to figuring out what to do here in the scanner. We have a whole collection of sample scans that you can use right out of the box. So for anybody that's using the scanner for the first time, you can always right-click and go to the TradeStation sample scans, and it'll open up this little dialog with sample scans that you can use right out of the box. One of the ones that I use a lot is this one that's called Big Movers. Just you want to look for stocks that are appreciating in value for a certain period of time. If you want to use any of the ones that are provided here in this sample scans, you just have to click and drag that scan over here to the left-hand side and drop it in there. Drop it here inside this black box. Once you drop it in there, you'll see the scan appear on the left-hand side. Let me clear out of this TradeStation sample scans for a moment. And then once I have my scan here on the left-hand side, I can run it right here from this button at the bottom. When I run it, the scan will run. It'll apply all the different filters that are inside that scan, and it'll give me what you see here on the right-hand side, which is the results. If you want to see exactly what the scan did, there is a tab down here at the bottom. I can click on Log, and you can see that the scan actually loaded the universe of symbols in the stock universe. It was 8,358 different symbols. And once it applied all the filters, 29 symbols remain. Now, if you want to know exactly what filters are included in this particular scan, you can go to the Settings tab. Settings tab will give you access to the details and what the scan is looking for. Remember, this is one of the sample scans, and every time that I build a scan, I always come here to the sample scans because here I find great ideas on how to filter down the symbol universe, because you probably do not want to follow every single stock in the symbol universe. I mean, there's over 8,000 symbols out there. So the challenge is trying to determine which are the stocks that you want to concentrate on or the ones you want to look at. So here we have a sample scan called Big Movers that is looking for stocks that have a closing price between 10 and 100. It is also looking at some volume quote data, and it's looking for stocks that have a volume greater than 500,000 shares. It's also looking at the value of the corporation by looking at market cap. And then it looks at a series of percent change. And it's looking for the percent change in price to be positive in different time periods, 5 days, 4 weeks, 13 weeks, and 26 weeks, greater than a certain percentage. So when you apply all these filters to the universe of stocks that is over 8,000, of course, you're going to start eliminating symbols because not every symbol meets the criteria here. So when I go over here to the log, I know that out of all the 8,000 symbols, 29 symbols remain. What are the symbols that remain? I go to the results, and here they are. I see the description, and if I scroll down, there are 29 total symbols that match the criteria. Every time you run the scan, it's going to give it a date and a timestamp, and it's going to be saved to the scanner window. So you don't necessarily have to be concerned about saving the scanner, because every time you run something, every time you create something in the scanner, that is automatically created for you, automatically saved for you. So even, take a look, even if I close out the scanner, I get this window that says, oh, you're about to delete the scanner from TradeStation. If I click OK, even if I do that, I may think, oh, I lost my scanner. But if I go here to the trading apps again and I click on scanner one more time, then there it is. I got my scanner back. All right. The font's a little bit smaller, but let me just make the font a little bit bigger by going here to the format window. I always like to make my font bigger because it's easier on the eyes. I like sometimes the things to be a little bit bolder. There we go. Okay, the scanner, I see the question here in the chat. How do I get the scanner? Remember that scanner is built into TradeStation. You don't have to sign up for it. You don't have to subscribe. You get it from the Trading Apps launcher. I have my tab here on top. Most of you may have the tab here on the left-hand side. I drag mine on the top and I have it here. And the scanner is part of the program or part of the TradeStation platform. But for the most part, I assume that you guys are going to be creating scans on your own. So let me show you how to create a scan from scratch. I'm going to go here to the insert, right here at the bottom left corner, click on insert, and that's the way that you create a scan. I'm going to name my scan price, volume, EPS, and Bollinger. All right. I'm going to do a combination of different things. I'm going to look at quote data, I'm going to look at volume, I'm going to look at some fundamental data, and I'm going to combine it with technical analysis. Let me click on next, and here I choose the symbol universe that I want to scan. The scanner works with any symbol or any symbol universe that it's built into the platform. So whether you're a stock trader, a futures trader, options trader, or even a Forex trader, I know that you cannot trade Forex at the moment on TradeStation, but you can do scans on Forex data. The scanner allows you to do scans on pretty much any universe. Since stocks is the largest one, I'm just going to select stocks here and do this as an example, and I'm going to click on next down here. Oh, by the way, before I click next, at the bottom here you can do some exclusions. So I'd say that you wanted to do the whole stock universe, but you don't want to see a group of symbols show up in the scan results. You can do some exclusions down here. We're not going to get into that because of time here, but I just wanted to point that out in case you wanted to remove some sections of the symbol universe. All right, here in the insert scan criteria, this is where the fun starts, because you're going to start creating and adding filters to your scanner. I did say that I was going to create a combination of quote data, fundamental data, and some technical analysis. So let's go ahead and do the quote data first. You can click on the drop-down and notice that you have different folders that you can expand. Take a look at what's available here, because we have hundreds and hundreds of different data fields that you can use in your filtering. Rather than going through the different folders, you can also just click inside where it says select criteria, and you can just type in what you want to look for. So if I want the closing price, I just type in the close, and notice how the scanner is going to give me everything that matches what I just typed in. I want the close or the current close right here at the very top. I have to select an operator, so I want the closing price to be between. Notice all the different types of operators. You can do top, bottom, percentage, outside, or just display. I'm going to choose between because I want to select a price range for my scan. And I want to look for stocks that are between $10 and $50, right? Between $10 and $50. That's my first filter. I go to the second row and I want to use volume. Not only the price, but I want to look at volume. Volume is an interesting and very important scan or filter because, of course, there's thousands of symbols that you can trade, but when it comes to trading, it's important for you to be able to get in and out at the time that you want to get in and out. If you get into a position and at the time of closing that position there's not enough liquidity, you may be stuck with a position for a while, even when the prices are fluctuating significantly. So volume is really important, and in this particular scan, I'm going to use as an example a volume average. Here we have two types of volume average, and I'm going to select the one that says the 10-day. A 10-day volume average greater or equal to 1 million. So I want these stocks to have traded at least 1 million shares on a daily basis, a 10-day average. So volume is right there. And even before I continue, and this is something that I get to do as a habit, as I'm creating this scan, I usually like to run the scan to see how many symbols are left. I only have two filters. I know that's not much, but I filtered the stock universe by a range of prices and volume. I'm interested in knowing how many symbols remain after I apply these two filters to the stock universe. I'm going to click on Run. It doesn't matter. Remember that every time you click on Run, the scanner saves all this information. I'm going to run it, and the results show up on my screen. If you look here on the left-hand side, under the scan column, I see the scan that I created with the volume that I gave it. I'm sorry, with the name that I provided it. If I click on the little plus sign to the left, I see the date and the time that I ran it, and that information is saved to the scanner. Every time you log into TradeStation and you come back to the scanner, that's already saved. Let me take a look at what happened to the scan. I'm going to go here to the log. The log tells me that it added 8,358 symbols to the stock universe, and once it applied the two filters that I specified, 615 symbols remain. So with only those two filters, the price filter and the volume filter, we were able to drop almost 8,000 symbols. Now that's very significant, and I find that very surprising that using just those two filters, I'm able to narrow down the universe of symbol to something that is a little bit more manageable. So I don't necessarily have to track all the 8,000 symbols. I can narrow down the list of symbols to something that is manageable, to something that I would find myself trading, because when you trade stocks, you're going to try to look for stocks that have certain characteristics and have certain volume and pricing profile, and maybe some fundamental data that it's positive as well. Let's go ahead and continue formatting my scan. I'm going to highlight it right here from the left, and I'm going to click on Format right here at the bottom. That takes me back to the format scan, where I can just go to the scan criteria and I can continue to add filters. Let me do earnings per share. Notice that I'm just clicking or typing EPS. I'm clicking in the row and typing EPS. It gives me a list of different items that I can choose. I'm going to choose the earnings per share for MRQ. MRQ stands for most recent quarter. I want the most recent earnings to be greater than 0. So I want them to be positive. And I want the earnings per share of the trailing 12 months. These are earnings per share for the 12 trailing months, or trailing 12 months. And I want those to be greater than, and I'm coming here to the right-hand side, type in EPS, and I want them to be greater than the prior trailing 12 months. All right, it's an interesting concept. I not only want positive earnings for the most recent quarter, but I also want earnings that are increasing when you compare, 1 year to the prior one. When I click on Run, the log tells me that from the 600 and odd number of stocks that we had, we're down to 217. If I want to take a look at the 217 symbols, I come over here to the Results tab, and it gives me the list of symbols here. Now, This is great way to scan the universe of stocks. I have the acronym right here. I don't have a description. Sometimes the description or the name of the corporation lets you know what all of these symbols are and give you an idea of what they represent. The way you do that, I'm going to click on Format again, go back to the scan criteria, and I'm going to select one of the rows here to be description. So I type in DES, select description, and I'm going to select an operator for display. I want to display the description. This is going to show you the name of the corporation behind the acronym, behind the symbol. But I'm going to take this row and I'm going to move it up here with this move up button. I'm going to make it the very top filter so it displays the name of the corporation. When I run it, then I get the same list of symbols, but now I have a description column that lets me know what corporation stands behind the acronym. I find that helpful sometimes. Now let's go to a technical analysis because that's something really interesting as well. Let me come over here to a different workspace, and let's say that we're using Bollinger Bands. Let me open up a chart here so you can see the technical idea. Okay, I'm going to bring up a daily chart. All right, this is the daily chart of Kraft. That's fine. And I'm going to insert the default indicator Bollinger Band. All right, those are the lines. Let me make those lines a little bit thicker so they're easier to see on the eyes. All right, so the Bollinger Band concept, if you're not familiar with it, it's calculating standard deviations from an average. What we're looking for is for any stock that goes beyond or outside of the channel and then comes back. The Bollinger Band looks for extremes, and it's said that if any symbol reaches an extreme, like an extreme on the upper side, it's very likely that it's going to bounce and go in the opposite direction. So if it goes up here and it returns inside the channel, there's a chance that the price will continue to go down. The same happens on a break on the downside. Let's say over here, you see how the candles broke the bottom band and they returned inside. That is a bullish signal, and it's an indication that the price may go to the upside. So how do we find this concept in the universe of stocks? We can use the scanner. Let me show you. I'm going to come back here to the scanner. This is the same scan that we were building, and I'm going to click on Format. And here in an additional row, I'm just going to type in BOLL to find the Bollinger, because all technical analysis that you use on a chart, you're going to find it here in the scanner. And you can do scans on any technical idea that you have on your TradeStation. I'm going to select the Bollinger Band. Let me open up here using the plus sign the settings for the Bollinger Band, because that'll give you access to formatting the parameters. I wanted to show you this because you can change the length for the moving average, the number of standard deviations. You can also change something that is very important when you're doing scans, which is the interval. What type of data are you using? You want to use daily data, or you want to use a different type of data? So if you're looking for triggers that happen intra-day, then you have to change the indicator accordingly. For this presentation, we're just going to leave it on daily. But one thing we want to change is what we're going to reference. You see here there's a sub drop-down that allows me to select the different values that are calculated inside the Bollinger Band, like the upper band, the lower band, the midline. I really don't want to, scan by the value. I want to scan by the actual trigger. So every indicator will have the word alert here, which will scan for the criteria. Whenever there's a penetration of the bands and a return inside the channel, that is the criteria for the Bollinger Band. So whenever you select an indicator and you select the alert, that'll pretty much look for that criteria to be met. I'm going to click on True here because I'm looking for any symbol that has a true alert on the Bollinger Band. Let's see if this gives me any results, because I know that in the scan that I'm creating, I have a list of 217 symbols. 217. So I want to know out of those 217 if there's any symbol that matches this criteria. I'm going to click on Run. You're going to see that my scanner will run. There's 217 symbols. This is calculating the easy language, which is my Bollinger Band. And I can see that there's 4 symbols here on my scan results. How do I confirm that the Bollinger Band is broken? Well, I'm going to come over here and copy this window. I'm going to right click on this window and copy. See, there's an option to copy the window, and I'm going to paste it right here next to my scanner. Paste window. All right, that'll create a replica of my window, and I'm going to resize this window and put it right here next to my scanner so that I can do the comparison. And I'm going to link the 2 windows together. And I'm going to look at this very top symbol, which is American Axle and Manufacturing, AXL. And there you see the breakout. You see how the previous bar is below the red band, and then you have the following bar breaks inside it or closes inside of the channel. That is a bullish signal right here. Let's look at the other one. Integrated Device Tech. I click on it, and this is a similar behavior. We have a close under the red band, and then today's bar closed above the red band, then entering the channel one more time and giving me a bullish signal. So this is a great way for you to look for technical analysis triggers. Is that something that you want to base your trading decisions on, and do it this way? One of the indicators that I wanted to show you, because I have about 6 minutes left on my presentation, is one of the custom indicators that one of my colleagues created called the volatility score. Let me show you this indicator. By the way, the indicator that I'm using here is available in this link. Volatility score indicator is available in the documents folder as well. It's a custom indicator based on ATR, average true range. Now, in the screen that I have here, I have 2 symbols. I have American Airlines on the left, and I have Kraft on the right-hand side. The yellow line is the regular ATR. And if you look at the values of ATR, this is a 14-bar ATR. If you look at the values of ATR, they're very similar. For American Airlines, we have a 14-bar of 1.06. And for Kraft, we have an average true range of 1.10. So this is measuring how big the bars are. So it's looking at the historical bars and measuring the difference between the high and the low. And volatility can be measured sometimes based on the size of the bars. The more the price moves, the more it's said that the stock is volatile. But this value that's right here, the 1.06 and the 1.1, has to be relative to the value of the stock. American Airlines, the price is $30, whereas Kraft, the price is $86. So even though at 1 point movement in the average true range is similar, it's $1 on each one of the stocks, when you look at American Airlines, since it's a cheaper stock, the movement is exponentially more. Why? Because you can invest, or you can get more shares for the same amount of money. Let's say that you are investing $10,000. You can purchase about 300 shares of American Airlines, whereas here you can only purchase about 100 shares on Kraft. So the number of shares is going to, of course, affect the potential profit. So this is a volatility score indicator that takes the same concept of ATR, but it's going to take into account the value of the stock to equalize that value and give you a score based on this average true range. So when you look at the value of the indicator, on American Airlines, you see the volatility score of 65, whereas the volatility score for Kraft is 27. So now you see a big difference because there's more potential here on American Airlines because it's a cheaper stock. So I like this indicator because it allows you to find stocks that have the best potential of making you the most money. So this is a great indicator. Let's go ahead and use it in my scanner so you can see the potential. And Ron, I see your question. If you look on the documents folder, if you look at the bottom right corner, you're going to see a little folder, but I'm going to share that link again here in the chat. But that's the documents folder. You click on it and it pops up a menu with different links there. All right. And I'm going to go here to my scanner, click on Format, and let's say that I want to disable the Bollinger Band for a moment. And I'm going to use the volatility score indicator. Actually, let's see. Trading App Store, volatility score. Once you use volatility score, it'll be available here. Okay, there it is. So I'm going to use the volatility score, and I'm going to look for a 14 bar, and I'm going to say, give me the top 20. Notice that I can also use that operator top 20, so it looks for the symbols that have the greatest volatility score. When I run this, let me remove this one. Okay, there we go. When I run this, it's going to calculate the volatility score for all the symbols, the 217 symbols, and it's going to give me right here the volatility score, which is pretty much the ATR, the average true range, but in relationship to the price of the stock. So it'll give you the most potential when it comes to profit. So here they're organized by the volatility score. I just double-clicked on the header, and I can organize those values in ascending or descending order. Let me answer some questions here from the chat. Jennifer, you asked about Maestro. How is different the Maestro from Scanner? Remember that Maestro, and for those that are not familiar with Maestro, Maestro is an optional service that TradeStation provides, and is mainly used for back testing. So you have a strategy that you apply to a portfolio of symbols, and it gives you an overall performance on the portfolio of symbols. But you do have to start off with a list of symbols. So the Portfolio Maestro, you provide the list of symbols, and we give you an overall performance on those symbols. The scanner, you start from scratch, and you say, okay, I have this idea. I want to look for any symbol that matches my criteria. So I'm gonna give you all these 8,000 symbols in the stock universe. Find me all the ones that meet the specific criteria. For example, a Bollinger Band idea or a volatility score idea. Yes. And Ron, if you're not able to find this indicator, I can email it to you. But what we meant the documents folder, it's on the browser where you're seeing this presentation, where you see my desktop. If you look down at the right hand side, there's a little folder, and there's also a little tools icon there. But if you click on that little folder, it'll give you access to the documents that we make available during the presentation. Okay? And Jeffrey, intraday abilities, of course. All the scans that we did here are based on daily data, but let me go ahead and show you how you can change these to intraday. I go to Format, and all the indicators, like for example, if I open up this volatility score indicator, notice that you have the ability to change the interval to intraday. So if I change this to 5-minute, it'll give me an average or a volatility score based on 5-minute data. And all technical indicators in TradeStation have ability where you can come here to the settings of the indicator, the show me or the paint bar, and change the type of data that is being used. Again, for my demonstration, I use daily, but you can change it to any interval that you'd like. All right. Andreas, I see your question about copying and pasting the symbol list into radar screen and run the calculations. Most definitely. Let me show you, for example, how I do that. And Andreas is making a very good point, because the scanner gives you static results. You see, the statics don't update in real time. So let's say, for example, that I just want to uncheck all these technical analysis. I want to do the technical analysis in real time. I still want to filter the stock universe by volume and price and fundamental data. So I'm going to leave those checked. I'm going to run this. All right, that's going to give me a total of 217 symbols. They're right here. This is in the results pane. What you can do is you can highlight the whole symbol column by clicking on the header, right-click on the highlight, and you're going to go to Append Selected Symbols to Custom Symbol List. Of course, you can copy. I mean, copying and pasting is great because I can just copy here, go to a radar screen window. This is my radar screen. I can insert a new page. You see, this is a blank radar screen, and I can right-click and paste. And that'll transfer the 217 symbols that I had in Scanner over to radar screen, which is very convenient. All these symbols here are updating in real time. So if you want to run the volatility score or the Bollinger Band idea that I provided you in real time, you have to do it in radar screen. So you can use both windows in combination. Like, okay, I use the scanner to narrow down my list of symbols to something that is manageable, and then I take all these symbols and put them in radar screen to do real-time scanning. So how to do the scanning here? Very easy. You come over here to Insert, Indicator. I can insert the same volatility score indicator plus the Bollinger Band. I add them. You see them right there in the list of symbols. You can move them up or down, and the two indicators go on the screen. And here, these technical analysis are using this interval, 5 minutes, and you can change the interval here in radar screen as well. All right. Yes, remember that I see some comments here about this custom indicator. This is a volatility score indicator, which was created and is available in the Trading App Store. You do have to subscribe to this indicator. It's a free install, so don't think that you're going to be charged for it. Let me show you how the link works. If I click on the link that I provided you, let me show you how this works. All right, let me put it right here on the screen so that everybody can see it. This is the way that the Trading App Store works. Notice how this is the volatility score indicator, and notice that there's a free install. So you do have to click on install here and go to the subscription process so this appears on your TradeStation. This is something provided by the Trading App Store, and you have to install it in TradeStation. It's a free install, and there's some PDF links here that provide you additional information on how the indicator works. Andres, question, can I copy and paste from radar screen into Scanner? Good question, and you cannot copy and paste, but if you highlight the list of symbols and you right-click and create what's called a custom symbol list, see, append selected symbols to a custom symbol list, it does allow you to create a custom symbol list under a specific name. You can create the list, custom symbol list, and when you come here to the scanner, you see when I go back to the scanner and I format the scan, if I go to my symbol universe, here it allows you to select a custom symbol list right here. So once you create a list from radar screen, you can come here and access that custom symbol list from within Scanner if you want to do a scan on a particular list of symbols. All right. Lem asks a question, can you link the radar screen to the scanner screen? It's an interesting concept. In fact, I've been asked that question before where, okay, if I run the scanner, can I have all these symbols transferred to radar screen automatically? Or vice versa, if you have radar screen, can I have those symbols automatically appear in Scanner? And no, you do have to do the manual, transfer. Like I was showing earlier, you can do a custom symbol list in radar screen and scan that list here in Scanner. Or you can copy the list of Scanner and then paste them in radar screen. But the two windows cannot be linked as you would link, for example, a chart analysis in Scanner or a chart analysis in radar screen. Those links are possible, but not the Scanner with a radar screen, because those are two types of screens that instead of receiving commands, they're both designed to send commands. Like when I click on the symbols here, they're intended to send the command to other symbols that are linked here on this under the same color. All right, hopefully that was clear. All right, so I provided you a few examples in the scanning. We talked about Bollinger Band. We talked about the volatility score. I wanted to give you that example because I think it's a great way for you to know what are the stocks that are moving and which are the ones that are moving the most. It doesn't give you, it doesn't give you a clear indication as to where they're going, if they're bullish or bearish, but this type of indicator is telling you, oh, this stock is moving a lot. Maybe take a look at it and see if it can turn into a trading opportunity. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you spending these 30 minutes with me. This presentation was recorded and is going to be available in the Mastering the Art of TradeStation link. Let me see if I can share that with you here. On-demand webcasts right there. When you go to the on-demand, you'll see on the left navigation menu a link for Mastering the Art of TradeStation, and this video is going to be uploaded to that site and then probably in a couple or few days. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, everyone. Have a very good afternoon, and thank you for your choosing TradeStation. Bye-bye.